All right, so we're going to have a look at site configuration and templates. But before we go there, we're right after the install here and it's telling us we have some important messages. So let's review the messages and see what it has to tell us. So two-factor authentication is available if we want to use it. We can hide that. Okay, and then a couple of guides here that we can have a look at if we want. Okay, so let's go back here. Okay, so let's go back to administration now. Okay, so you see down the left-hand side here, this is where we manage our site. And you also have the controls up here as well. So we're going to go down here to global configuration first. Okay, so this is where we can change the title of our site right here, put it offline if we want, and then we can use an offline message. We can use the default one, or we can change it here. On our offline image, we can use the standard one or change it. Okay, mouse over for edit icons. Now, if you don't know what something is, you just put your mouse on it here, and it just tells you you could have a mouse over menu for different parts of it here. Okay, the editor you want to use, so we got TinyMCE. Okay, our default CAPTCHA. We don't have a CAPTCHA plugin on here yet, so we got nothing there. Default access level, so public, guest, registered, special, or super user. So you can put this the way you want it here. Usually you're going to want it at public, but if you want to set a site to only be private for registered users or however you want to do it, you can do that there. Okay, so this is the size of the list in the control panel. The default feed limit. So that's your content items in the feed, and then the feed email address. Okay, so I made a description. I need to put in some keywords here. So you should spend some time thinking of what you want to put in there. Okay, this is for our robots.txt. So index follow means that it's just going to follow everything from the index page. Index no follow and no index no follow. Usually this is what you're going to want here. So content rights, this just describes what users can do with your content. So if you say here this is restricted content and may not be used by anyone other than the owner of this site, that will appear there, and it gives the users an indication that this content cannot be shared. Now, you can show the author meta tag on every article or not. I like to turn this off and show Joomla version. This usually you're going to want to turn off for security reasons. Okay, let's go to system. So this is telling you the location of your site by path. Okay, your help server. This is where you can turn on the debugging if you're having problems. Down here, your caching settings. So this is for work files. So this down here is an automatic logout. So if there's no activity after 15 minutes in this case, it's going to log them out. So you can change this to the way you like. And then this session handler is how Joomla identifies users. Okay, let's go into server. Now, in all likelihood, you're not going to want to change anything in here, but you can change things, for instance, your mail server, if you want to use something besides PHP mail, even though this is usually the most reliable mail handler. And if you want to enable FTP or proxy settings. So normally you're not going to do anything in there. We have permissions. Okay, now you can change the permissions for the user groups down here. So for instance, public has this set of permissions for the different sections. And we're going to be leaving these at the default. But if you want to change something, this is where you can do it. So guests have these permissions by default. Manager, administrator, Okay, so I don't really suggest changing these unless you know what you're doing there. But usually that's going to be what you want. Okay, and then text filters. Okay, so this is a way that you can filter what people submit to your site. For instance, the public cannot submit any HTML and guess default blacklist. Okay, so you can tweak this the way you want. Again, I'm going to leave these at the default here. Okay, so let's save and close. Next, let's go into the template manager. Okay, so here are templates. Now, you'll see over on the right here, there's options. So let's go into the template options first. And here we have whether we can preview. So let's enable that. Okay, and then our upload file size in megabytes. Okay, and then our valid font formats. Okay, and then permissions. This is where we can set the permissions for the different user groups again. Now you'll see that a lot of these are inherited from the actual user group. Okay, so guest. And you're probably not going to want to be changing any of these either. Okay, so let's save and close. All right, now if we click on this, we can preview the template now that we've turned that on. So this is what that template looks like here. And this is the one that we don't have set to default right now. So if you see over here, see the little star there? That means that it can be set to default, and the ones with the stars filled in are the default. Okay, so there's the site and the admin theme. Okay, and then we already know what this one looks like. But if we preview it, okay, so there's an example of when that's filled in. Now these are the ones that are installed on here, but we can go and get more if we want, and we can install those. So for now, let's change change this one to the default here. Okay, so now we have Beer 3 as the default for the site. Okay, now I want to show you how you can add a tab that we're going to need in the extensions, and it's going to be an add to web tab. I'm doing this while we're in here since we're going into extensions anyway, and this is an important function. So you see here it says add install from web tab. We want to click on that, and then it'll add the tab on here, which makes it easier to install extensions. So we'll click on that, and it's loading it up here. And there we go. So now we have another way we can install extensions. Okay, so what I want to show you now is how we can install other themes. So what we want to do is go over to Google, and then we want to search on Joomla templates. And you'll get a number of results, and you're probably going to want to look for free ones. And here's a free download. So I'm going to download this one. Okay, now we're going to go and we're going to install it. So back to our extension manager here. And what we want to do is upload package file. And then we just need to browse for that on our computer. Okay, so here it is here. So we'll open. And now we'll upload and install. And if all goes well, we should see that everything is okay. Okay, so it looks like it installed okay. So now we want to go to the extension manager, or the template manager. So down here, template manager. And here it is right here. So let's just click on this for a preview. And there it is. Okay, so that's how simple it is to install a new template. And if I wanted to make it the default template, I just click it there. Okay, so in the next video, we're going to do some more setup.